Alright. Here is the Poco M5. The latest budget gaming phone from Poco sub-brand of Xiaomi. The box is a really loud and happy bright yellow. I like it. We have the usual inner box here with the SIM ejector pin. And inside this, we have the free transparent silicone case along with the paperworks. We have the Poco M5 itself here, but let's check the other contents in the box first. We have the 18-watt charging brick here, which comes with USB-A to USB-C charging cable. Always nice to have complete necessities in the box. See that iPhone and Samsung. It's not that expensive. I got this phone for 11,000 Philippine pesos, which is really cheap for fairly new phone. Poco M5 was released only last September 2022 and uses a very capable MediaTek Helio G99 CPU with 5000 mAh battery and a 90Hz display. 11,000 pesos is a bang for the buck price if you ask me. Okay. Let's get to the Poco M5 phone itself now. What immediately catch my attention here is the back plating of the phone. This is a very nice black leather back. I've always been a fan of the leather back phone. Poco M5 also comes with color green and yellow. But I think I like this black leather most. Poco M5 is an average size phone of 6.46 by 3 by 0.35 inch dimensions and weighs 201 grams, which again is an average phone weight these days. In the right side of the Poco M5, we have the volume controls along with the power button that doubles as a fingerprint scanner. This side-mounted fingerprint scanner is good enough. It is not as fast as the newest ones out there, but it gets the job done. Each scan is accurate, but it takes about 1.5 to 2 seconds to unlock the screen. Accurate, but not fast, which is good enough. At the bottom, we have a microphone hole here, the USB Type-C charging port, and the one and only speaker that the phone has. At the top, we have another microphone hole and a 3.5mm headphone jack. At the left side, we only have the SIM tray here. This SIM tray can hold 2 SIM cards and a micro SD slot. I'm not sure what's the maximum capacity for the SD card is allowed here. If you know, please drop a comment below so that everyone will be informed. The camera module is big and looks like a Pixel phone camera module on steroids. This hosts the 3 cameras of 50 megapixel main with f1.8 aperture, a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and another 2 megapixel for macro. The selfie camera is a 5 megapixel sensor with f2.2 aperture. Both the main rear and selfie camera can record a video up to 1080p 30 fps only. You will not get 4K nor 60 fps here. The camera UI is the same as most from other Android phones. You have the usual options here for HDR, flash, and others. But if you notice here in photo, there's no options for wide angle or telephoto. With the camera setup of Poco M5, we basically have only one rear camera here. The 2 megapixel macro and depth are just complementary sensors for the main 50 megapixel. We also have the other usual options here for portrait, night mode, and 50 megapixel RAW, panorama, slow motion, time-lapse, and other. We also have a document scanner here and of course, the video mode, which also has no other lens options. The screen is a 6.58-inch IPS LCD display, not OLED. This is one area where Poco cut corners to make the price lower. Poco M5 has a 6.58-inch screen with 83.6 screen-to-body ratio. It is on a 20:9 screen ratio with 401 ppi density and it can go up to 500 nits of brightness and a great 90Hz refresh rate. This is an LCD screen though, so you are stuck with a fixed 60Hz or 90Hz display and that cannot be variable refresh rate. The resolution is 1080 by 2408 pixels. And the protection is an old Corning Gorilla 3. Overall, this screen is really good for its price. I don't see any difference with a usual OLED phone screen, maybe except for the deep blacks of an OLED screen. 500 nits is enough brightness to see the screen clearly on a sunny day. And the 90Hz refresh rate is a great bonus to make the experience really snappy and fast. Poco M5 runs on Android 12 with MIUI 13 skin. This is subjective, but for me, I do like MIUI. Probably because there's sentimental aspect to it, since my first proper Android phone was a Xiaomi Mi 3. So I became very familiar and at home using MIUI OS. The main brain of the Poco M5 operation is a MediaTek MT8781 Helio G99 6nm chip, which has the built-in Mali G57MC2 GPU. And the variant that I have here is 128 gigs of ROM with 4 gigs of RAM. The lowest variant is a 64:4 configuration, and the highest is 128/6. I got the middle child here. On the audio department, Poco M5 has a single loudspeaker located at the bottom part and it also has an FM radio, which is becoming rare now. Another one that's becoming really rare is the 3.5mm jack, which Poco M5 has. I salute all phones that still carry 3.5mm jack. This feature of the phone shouldn't be disposed just to earn more money with your Bluetooth earphone products. Let's listen to the actual sound of the loudspeaker now. There you go. The speaker is loud enough if you are in a room. The bass is a little low though, which is expected, and as you've seen in the video, when your hand blocks the single speaker, it basically mutes the phone. All of these are expected, and dare I say standard, for the phones in this price range. So nothing to be surprised or disappointed about, really. Poco M5 comes with a 5000 mAh lithium polymer battery, which is huge and great. The box comes with an 18-watt charger, but I think the phone can take an up to 22 watts charger, since in other countries, their charger comes with that. In this price range, we obviously will not expect any wireless charging here, but the huge battery, we can expect a great battery life on this. On a whole day of usage, I usually still get about 20 to 30% left in the phone before sleeping. For heavier than usual gaming, I am left with around 10%, but never fully drained. It takes 1 to 1.5 days to drain the phone out, with screen on time that ranges from 5 to 8 hours. Overall, a really solid battery here. Charging takes some time though. With my 18-watt brick, it takes 2.5 hours to fully charge it from 0 to 100. On 2023 standards, that is really slow. But we'll go back to the price range again to make ourselves feel better. For gaming and performance, Poco M5 is very capable. But do remember that this is a mid-range device only. Also, the games I play are not too heavy as well. I only play Asphalt, Call of Duty Mobile, Tekken 7 in a PSP emulator, plus other old games like NBA Jam, Clash Royale, Plants vs Zombies and such. And on all of these games, Poco M5 has been great. I have not experienced any lags, and the phone is not getting too hot either. But do note that some games only allow you to go to as much as the medium graphic settings. And you also need to clear your memories from time to time, since if there are too many applications open at the same time, you will feel slowness on all areas of the phone. Just like what I said earlier, the phone performs great, but do not forget that this is just a mid-range device, with only 4 gigs of RAM, and a mid-range CPU and GPU. Overall, I am impressed and very happy with the Poco M5 performance. Now let's talk about the camera of Poco M5. As mentioned earlier, we basically have just one rear camera here, and on a well-lighted environment, the 50-megapixel camera performs great. The pictures come out crisp, has a good dynamic range, and vibrant. The colors are a bit more saturated than real life, which is what most people like. The pictures that Poco M5 produce on a bright environment are very much comparable to my Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 camera. It's that good. Portrait is also something that many people will like. Subject separation is spot on. And the background blur effect comes out really natural. That depth sensor in the camera module really does its work well. On a low light environment though, it's a totally different story. The picture comes out very noisy and lacks proper exposure. And when you shift to a portrait, it becomes worse. For the very low 5-megapixel front camera, as expected, the pictures and videos are not that good. It looks washed out and soft, and sometimes overexposed. It's comparable to phone cameras from a decade ago. So if selfie is important to you, you might want to look for other phones with a higher specs for their selfie camera. Just like the pictures, the videos come out really clear and good on a well-lit environment. But as you might immediately notice here, there's not even a little bit of stabilization here. All movements, even the small ones, are felt on the video. Make sure that you have a steady hand, or better use a gimbal, if you are recording a video on a Poco M5. Even though you have only one working lens, Poco M5 still provides a digital zoom capability. But the camera UI weirdly does not show how many times the zoom is. On my approximation, the maximum zoom is about 6x, which is a bit noisy, but still a decent recording. The Poco M5 camera has an impressive autofocus capability. As you can see in this video, I am shifting from a brightly sun-exposed far landscape recording to a close-up of an indoor plant leaf, and Poco M5 handles it very nicely and fast. It can quickly shift the focus perfectly. In addition to that, it can also adjust the exposure without any problem, shifting back and forth between a brightly lit sun and an indoor shade, and everything looks good and crisp. Unfortunately, the low light situation for videos is not that great. I don't think footage like this is even usable. Actually, low light video recording on Poco M5 is a total trash. But like Samsung, Xiaomi is also known for innovative software enhancements, so maybe they can still improve this through software updates in the future. Hopefully. Alright. Honestly, there's a lot missing on Poco M5. There's no wireless charging. No Wi-Fi 6 support. No waterproofing. Only has a mono and not a stereo speaker. It still uses Bluetooth 5.3, which is quite old. The screen protection is also old, with Corning Gorilla 3. The main camera is basically just one, which is bad at low light, no stabilization, and it is partnered with a mediocre selfie camera. But on the positive side, the overall performance of the phone is really great. The CPU is very decent. On a well-lit situation, the main camera looks like a flagship-level camera. The leather back plating of the phone is superb. The box comes complete with a charger, charging cable and even a phone case. It has an FM radio and a freaking headphone jack. And the battery life is above average. The question is, will all of these positive items outweigh the negative ones? I think yes. And I think there's one more positive item that will definitely outweigh everything mentioned in the negative side. And I am talking about the price. This is just 11,000 pesos. With this price, I think everything that is missing on the phone is unquestionably justified. If you have the money to buy all the bells and whistles of a flagship phone, you will definitely not pick Poco M5 because of those many missing features. But for most of the cell phone consumers, the masses, all of those missing features can easily and happily be disregarded. And that 11,000 price tag alone is more than enough to choose Poco M5. If you enjoy this video, give me a thumbs up. If it has helped you in any way, please do consider subscribing to the channel. Nilasuj for watching. Nova Air.